Well, I'm really delighted to welcome everyone this morning to the Wilson Science and Technology Forum. We live in an information age, and we're all experienced with computers and apps and all kinds of electronics that has come into our life in the last 20 years, let's say. What comes with that, however, are a myriad of passwords. Every app has a password, and we're always concerned about whether or not someone can abuse our personal information by somehow using some form of cyber attack or cyber mischief. We're going to hear from Walter Hubbard, who's the president of PC Quick Help. He's going to talk. A lot of the folks in the audience do know him, but Walter's going to talk about how a good computer can wind up being problematic. And Walter, I'm glad to see you this morning. Welcome.
Okay.
Floor is yours, kid.
All right. Well, it's very good to be here and see all a lot of friends and clients, and so some of the people here in the crowd here, retired people from NASA like Ramesh and Peter Mook from the World Bank, and Jack Roll from MassSave, and Charlie from Verizon. So we got a whole group of people here that have similar backgrounds. But everybody is vulnerable. So we've seen clients who have are doctors that are scientists, yet they fall for some of these scams, and the scams are running rampant. And the reason I'm here today is to scare you. I know Halloween is come and gone, but we have seen too many people lose money, lots of money, thousands of dollars every week. Every week we see people lose thousands of dollars. So I'm here to warn you. I really don't want your business. I want you to stay away. I want you to stay safe. So I'm here to warn you of some of the scams that are going on. So let me begin here. So I'm going to talk about security, your computer security, but your personal security. And a lot of these scams may originate through your computer, but a lot of them will just originate with a phone call and have nothing to do with your computer. So so why are people doing this? Why are people trying to contact you? It's all about money. It's all about money. When I first saw this stuff going on 10 or 12 years ago, it was a couple of $100. And then I'm going to tell you a story later on about a gentleman who lost $530,000. And when I saw that, I said, okay, it's time to do a talk to the general populace to warn them of these scams that are out there. So who is doing this? So it's here in the U.S. at least, it's largely coming from the Indians. When I say the Indians, from India, and they are, but also the Russians and the Russians are mostly trying to attack larger computers, and the Chinese, but also Americans. This whole scam has now moved around the world. And I have a friend in Salzburg, Austria, and they have gotten calls from Indians as well. And then there's a guy online who does videos where he attacks. He's a white hat hacker, and he gets so his mother in Ireland lost a lot of money. So now he goes after these guys and does videos. So this is worldwide. It's not only us, but in my little shop over the past 10 years, we've probably seen $1 million go out the door on various scams. So I want to make sure everybody knows what to do. And so who are the victims? So it's everyone, and no matter what your background, these are smart people, real smart people, doctors, engineers, and but now it's going to everyone, and especially senior citizens. So now they're contacting everybody. They don't know that you're a senior citizen, but I think senior citizens are more vulnerable. They're more trusting, and they're not unsure of the technology, so they think that they could use some help. So, and then how are they attacking? So there's several ways. So I'm going to describe some of them here. Um, and so I want to make sure everybody can see this. So you might get a call on your phone. Now, I think maybe a lot of us are getting scam calls that from either Microsoft, the IRS, or even Apple. In fact, we had one client about a month ago. She wasn't a client at the time, but she fell for a scam. And like somebody on her computer who noticed that she does banking at the Winchester Cooperative Bank. And so she said, "Well, I don't do online banking." And so the scammer said, "Well, okay, we know you don't, but we want your help because there's a problem at the bank. And we want your help in trying to catch these guys." So, and he said, "I'm going to have someone from the bank give you a call." And so, sure enough, her phone rang and it said Winchester Cooperative Bank with their telephone number. So, using voice over IP, they can identify themselves as anybody they want to be. I mean, you could say Donald Trump, but in this case, was saying Winchester Cooperative Bank. So she took the call. And so she was instructed to get $30,000 out of her bank. And she did. She got $30,000. And she was instructed to go to a Bitcoin ATM and put that $30,000 into that slot. However, on the way over, on the way to the bank, she said, "Whoa, what am I doing?" And so then she went back to the bank, and then the bank sent her over to me. So because we had to get the back door that the bad guy left on the computer. So so be very careful of DM phone calls. And there's something that I've seen in the past month or so where bad guy says, "Okay, I want you to download an app onto your phone." Onto an iPhone? I didn't think that could happen, but sure enough, the victim put a app on their phone so the bad guy could control the phone. And we've seen that twice, and then once on an iPad, where I thought Apple devices were that much secure. So do never download an app, never take a call from anybody you don't know. Just let it go to messages, you know. And some phones will say scam calls, so certainly don't take those. But be suspect of anything that comes in. So another way is on your computer, and say you're doing a Google search for something, a recipe or something, and there'll be a link, and these are advertised links right at the top. And Google takes money from these people. And the victim will click on that link and end up with a screen that looks, let me skip ahead to that. It ends up with a screen that looks like that. And it freezes up their computer so that they can't do anything about it. So what do? They call that number. Now that number changes all the time. That's not Microsoft. And so they get somebody in India that says, "Don't worry, ma'am, I can help you with that. So you just need to download this program. I'll send it to you, and I can get it on your computer and take care of that." So the and so I had this person was referred to us about 6 months ago, and he called the number, and he was instructed by the perpetrator to get $30,000 out of his Bank of America account, cash money, and go to a Bitcoin ATM in Chelsea at a convenience store. He did it. And I said, "What did you do?" And he showed me his receipts, by the way, because when he told me the story, I had a tough time believing it. And he showed me his receipts, and I said, "What'd you do with the QR code?" Oh, I sent it to the guy because I'm not quite sure what the victim's thoughts were going on, but I think maybe he was supposed to be setting up a sting operation for Microsoft or something like that. Not sure what it was. So there goes the $30,000. But there's more, because a month later, he gets an email and telephone calls from Jerome from the DEA. Here's the letter from the DEA. DEA. And so I guess he's part of a sting operation as well. I said, "Well, did Jerome have an Indian accent?" "How did you know?" And the so Jerome instructed him, I know it's going to be tough to believe, to purchase $500,000 of gold. And so, sure enough, he went to a gold broker and got $500,000 worth of gold. I said, "How much does that weigh?" I'm thinking, 100 pounds? Because he had a picture of the box, and it was 25 pounds. And I Googled it. Sure enough, $500,000 is 25 pounds. So what'd you do with the box? Well, as instructed, he met a guy in a parking lot in South Boston in a pickup truck. And it's gone. So, and so that's why I'm here today, for really that one incident, because holy smokes, even though we see thousands each week go away, this was like over the top. And this guy is very smart, very smart. And and he's retired. So so again, the senior citizens are being victimized here. So that's what I want to warn everybody about. By the way, just to sum up that story a little bit more. So I said, "Okay, we could probably clean up your computer, but it's a little bit older. Well, I want you to get a Mac, which is a little bit more secure." By the way, how many people have a Mac here? Okay, so I know you got to be very smug that everything's just fine, but be careful, because I'll tell you another story in a few minutes about somebody on a Mac that got duped as well. So this is all called social engineering. So anyhow, I got him a Mac, and while we're setting it up for him, his phone rings. And it's from Chelsea. The telephone number is from Chelsea. And it's this time it's an American woman. And it turns out that he had contacted the FBI, the victim had contacted the FBI, and left a message for them. And so this woman identified herself with the FBI. And I said, "So could I have a callback number and your badge number?" Yep, she gave it to me. And then I went offline and called my neighbor, who's Winchester Chief of Police. And I said, "Is this the right?" I said, "Where's the FBI in Boston?" "It's in Chelsea." "Is this the right telephone number?" "Yeah." And he said, "You got a good one. That's a real contact. And so the victim did meet with the FBI, but they couldn't get any of the money back. I mean, it's all gone. And this was frankly, he came to me 2 months after everything happened. So so um, anyhow, if you get this screen on your computer, whether it's a Windows computer or whether it's um, um, uh, a Mac, because you can, you just push and hold the power button for 12 full seconds, not 12, not kind of 12, but 12 full. Just push and hold. There's a voice that will come on and say, "Do not shut off your computer. Um, shut off your computer. Pull the power. Do something, but don't call that number." All right. So let me come back to here. Now, another scam is a phishing email from Norton or Apple or Amazon saying, "Thank you for your order." And it'll be like $400 or something like that. And you say, "Well, I never ordered that." So let me show you it'll look something like this. That looks real. It's got the Norton logo on it and everything. Thank you for your order for $488. It sure sounds good. And then it says, if you feel so, call that number. Don't call that number. Because if you call that number, you'll get Jerome in India or Andy or somebody. Because so this happened to a Mac user, and the Mac user, what they did was um, uh, let the bad guy on, and then logged into the victim's bank account, and then these guys have software where they can edit the screen. So instead of getting back $488.99, the perpetrator has edited the screen and say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I deposited $48,899 into your account. So you owe me money now." And so the victim was going to transfer the money. Luckily, the phone rang. So he's on the cell phone. His landline rang. His wife said, "Uh-huh, uh-huh." It was the Winchester Cooperative Bank calling her, saying, "No, we're not authorizing that transfer." So it's it's great that you can do business with a small bank like the cooperative bank or like the savings bank that will actually make these phone calls. And so anyhow, his wife says, "Honey, you on the computer?" "Yeah, I'm busy." "Turn it off now. Call Walter." So anyhow, this part of the scam, do not respond to any of these telephone numbers. Right? Um, and okay. Now, what we've been seeing lately is hacked email accounts. Now, this is not on your computer. The computer has not been hacked. It's your email account. So let's say you got a Comcast account, which is frequently hacked, or AOL, or even Gmail. And you may wonder how that could be hacked. I mean, you haven't done anything. You have not done anything. And maybe that's the problem, because what you may not have done is you may not have changed your password. And so what a lot of people do, and so here's the warning, you need to keep for every website, especially for your email, it has to be a unique password. Because this is how bad guys are figuring this out. So let's say you use the same password for everything. And let's say you have a LinkedIn account or some other kind of account, and you're using that same password, same email. And what you've done, and then that website's been hacked. Let's say LinkedIn or Yahoo, which they have been hacked. let's say they've got hacked, and so now the bad guys, like they sell this information on the dark web, um, but the bad guy not only has your email address, but also your favorite password, and so they'll try to use that username and password to get into your email. And then what they do is, we've seen this many times. So they'll get into your email and send this an email out to all of your contacts. Maybe looking for an Amazon gift card. Oh, I need help. And then, or they might. Um, so we've seen this several times where they'll put a filter on your email. So if you have any uh, emails come and say Bank of America or Winchester Cooperative Bank, they put that into a hidden folder into trash. So you don't know the bad guys on your email. He goes to that bank website to reset the password. And how do you reset a password? You have a link sent to your email. And you can't see it because it's in a hidden folder or it's in the trash. So you don't see it, but he's logged into your account and he can see it. And he's also put a forwarding address, so he sees all these emails that are coming in. So be very careful. So you got to have a unique password for everything. All right. So that's what I'm referring to, is the emails hacked because your password is out on the dark web. They get it and they can use that as an entree to changing your bank password. All right. So now here's another scam. You get an email, and again, this can happen on. In fact, this did happen on Mac. I'll tell you a Mac story. A link in an email asking you to log into your Google account or your Microsoft or your AOL account because I've got a document for you. And it might be from somebody you know. In the case I'm going to tell you, this is on a Mac several years ago, and the victim got an email from her financial planner. Well, okay, the email says I got a document for you, and so she's trusting of the. Well, turns out her financial planner was hacked. And so that email from him was not from him. And there's a link in there asking her to sign into her Google account. So she types in her Google email address and password. Nothing happened. Did it again. Nothing happened. Oh, I didn't think anything about it. That was on a Sunday. And then on a Monday, the next morning, I'm with another client, and she calls me at 9 o'clock. I didn't take the call; I was busy. And then she calls me 9:05. I didn't take the call. And then she called me 9:06. I said, I better take this call. And what had happened was bad guy um, stole her username and credentials for getting into her Gmail. Okay, I just described what could happen there. But in her case, it was even worse because she had important financial documents that she had saved in her email. Financial documents like tax forms, financial plans. So, so, so I said, okay, you got to shut down all those accounts, and I'm going to tell you in a minute what else we're advised to do. And by the way, we got her email back and everything in. So yeah, that's right. She got a call. Let me back up. She got a call from her financial advisor. Says someone's trying to withdraw $50,000 from your account. So the financial advisor blocked it, of course. So she didn't lose any money out of the deal, but scary. Okay, and then sometimes if you go to Google and you type in printer help or something like that, and you think you're going to an HP website, it might say something like hpprintersupport.com. Now these are ads that Google is taking that go to fake tech support. and so we've seen several people who have uh, called that number and back to bad guy on her computer. Oh, we can take care of that. We'll just log onto your computer. And that particular scam, they're not maybe trying to steal information on the computer, maybe, but they're just looking for $544 to fix your $120 printer. So, all right. So, so come full circle. The weakest link is you, because you're the person with the weak password. You're the person with the same password for everything. Or you're the person who took the phone call from the bad guy. Or you're the person who called. So the weakest link is you. This is all, and this is, it's given a kind of soft name like social engineering. So never, ever, ever, ever let anybody have remote access on your computer, except me. So, all right. Because,
Does that include remote access from Apple if you pull them?
well, so make so if you've got the real Apple,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
real Apple, it's okay, but you got to make sure you got the real Apple. And then the same with Microsoft. What Apple and Microsoft does, by the way, um, they don't take control of your computer. What they do is they'll circle the screen so that um, you have to do the clicking, so they don't have access to any of the data. So, you're right that as long as that's a real Apple or real Microsoft, um, um, good luck trying to get a hold of Microsoft. Only for business clients will really Microsoft do that. So, by the way, if anyone's Ron, if anyone's raising a hand, wants to jump in, just it's so the format today. I should have started off with this is just shout out a question. If you got a question, just yes, John.
In addition to unique passwords, do you want a unique name as well?
No,
So it can be your email.
oh yeah, your email, but a unique password, and then I've got a couple words about password hygiene, and so we're going to get to that. All right. So anyhow, if you let somebody on your computer and you have saved passwords, in Chrome or Edge, and you think they're secure, they're not, and the perpetrator can just grab those. In fact, so years ago, I said to my tech, "How is that possible? It's password protected." Walt, I'll show you. And he grabbed all the passwords, put them in an Excel spreadsheet, and showed me how the perpetrator could steal them away. Or they might show fake computer data. Oh, look at all this stuff going on in your computer. We're going to need to charge you $344 or something like that. Or you can have a lifetime plan for $1,500. I had one client fall for that, $1,500. Or they can log onto your bank accounts. And I think we talked about that. So never ever leave money on your computer. All right. Or in one case, so if somebody fell for this is years ago, and let bad guy on the computer. Right, that's bad enough. And it was that bank scam. Oh, I'm sorry, I've moved $16,000 into your account. Now you owe me $16,000. Okay, well, that's bad enough. And she was instructed to go get gift cards. So she got $4,000 worth of gift cards from Macy's and Best Buy. Scratched off the numbers, gave it to the bad guy. So there goes that. Another client fell for that. They bought Bitcoin on behalf of the perpetrator. But in coming back to the gift card, in this case, the victim was at Winchester Cooperative Bank. That was $4,000. the perpetrator says, "What? You still owe me $12,000?" And now this intimidating. And so, well, and she said, "I don't have that money in my checking account." Well, you're going to have to get it. So she went to the Winchester Cooperative Bank, and she's transferring money over from her savings to her checking. And the teller says, something's not right here. And brought in a bank officer. And the victim's still on the phone with the perpetrator. And so the bank officer says, "It's still on the phone?" "Yeah, okay. Let me talk to him." And she got on the phone. She said, "This is the Winchester Police Department." And the guy hung up. You'd think that's the end of the story. It's not. Because when she left her home, the bad guy was still on her computer. And he erased the whole hard drive. Gone. We couldn't get any of the data. He reformatted the drive. So remember, never let anybody on your computer. Right.
Well, if you have a question online.
Oh, yeah. What do you got?
Eddie, go ahead. You're muted, Eddie.
Yeah, no, it's all right. The very first time I got scammed was actually by a member of my staff on a scientific project. And what he did was create a login image that everyone literally saw first on their screens throughout the project, which was just a normal login. Everybody entered their login. The whole morning they couldn't get in, but they gave away all their passwords, and then he revealed what he had done. And that was back in the 1980s.
Was that just to scare you?
Sorry?
Was that just to scare you? Or to teach
He
a
did
lesson?
it for fun. But it taught me something which actually later I also fell for a scam online, which was I wanted to renew my driver's license online. And so I looked it up in Google, and it actually took me to a scam site where I filled it in, the sort of forms that they presented. And actually, I only lost $2 in the end, but because I realized there was something funny going on. So,
yeah.
but if you really should be careful that you're actually on the site that you think you're on. And Google, even when you do a Google search, it can lead you to a scam site.
So I don't know if anybody knows Eddie, but he's a very smart guy. Very smart. Eddie, you got your PhD or MD or something, right?
PhD,
And
in physics, yeah.
and people are falling for this, no matter how smart they are. And that was a number of years ago, right? And so everybody's got to be very aware of what's going on. All right. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, Walter, thank you so much for this. My wife was scammed over WhatsApp by a very convincing sounding fellow, and she sent some money to him. We've got his name, we've got his phone number. He still answers that when I call from a different phone, so he's still at it. Is there something I can do to recover that now that I know his name and his phone number?
I doubt it. Maybe the FBI can help you, but if there is an FBI, Scott's got a suggestion for you.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, WhatsApp is international. They do that intentionally.
Well,
By the way, Scott is the tech support for the Jenks Center, but also has a long career in tech support. So, okay, good. All right. So, okay.
Thank you.
Now, yep, you're welcome.
Question here.
Oh, we got another one?
Thank you.
Oh, hi, Jane.
On some banks and financial places, they ask if you want to switch your password to Face ID. Is that a better idea?
It is, because then it's only you. Except when you die. However, the password still exists. Okay. When we get into the password hygiene, we're going to talk about legacy passwords. But no, the Face ID is a good idea. Yes. Yep. Yep. So, yes.
Walter, what is the dark web you referenced?
So the dark web is actually an ordinary web page, but it only can be accessed through one particular browser. You know how we have the browser we have is Chrome or Edge or Firefox? So there's another browser called Tor that's available to anybody. It was written by scientists at Harvard and MIT for the State Department. So when they're in a remote location, where they don't have internet access, or they have internet access but it's restricted, Tor can get into any website. And so, Peter, I don't know if you use Tor in at the World Bank, but in your travels, but so Tor is a bona fide browser. But these other websites in what's called the dark web can only be accessed with the Tor browser, Tor. And that's where lots of things are sold: guns, prostitutes, your passwords. And so when there's a big hack, that data is for sale on the dark web by the perpetrator. The perpetrator is not using that data. The perpetrator is selling that data. And we're going to talk about some of actually it might be a good time to talk about one of the biggest hacks happened, actually, I believe it was maybe 6 months ago. So it was the national public data. Nothing to do with the US government. But 170 million people lost their usernames, okay, not passwords, but social security numbers, and maybe driver's license numbers. And so that's all been stolen. And so we all of us, no matter whether you've been hacked or not, are going to, we'll get to that in a minute. No matter, you need to freeze your credit. And I'll tell you how to do that in a moment. So, all right. So don't call any of those numbers you see online. Let's see, who was it? I forget who it was that Googled for some kind of information. Oh, it was you, Eddie. That's right, Eddie. Yeah, you look for help on a particular subject, and so Google's taking advertisements. The first 3 lines, sometimes so make sure whatever website you're going on is the real website. So be careful of calling anybody online. And we already know this one. Call anybody on your computer remotely. Oh, and a word about antivirus software. My favorite is Malwarebytes. Okay. So Malwarebytes does a good job of not only protecting against viruses, but also other malware. So it works great. So, all right. So Malwarebytes, you can just go to malwarebytes.com and put that on a computer. That's what we've been using at our shop for 10 years.
Excuse me,
Yes.
is that a similar to Norton?
Well, yeah.
Something
So
different?
there's Norton, and then there's McAfee, and Malwarebytes, and Bitdefender. And so they're all good. On the other hand, I like Malwarebytes better. It seems to do a better job. When someone's got Norton on their computer, at least in the past, I think it's gotten better recently. And we'll scan it. We'll find malware, meaning maybe adware. Okay, so we just think that Malwarebytes does a better job, and sometimes Norton slows down computers. However, they've gotten better in the past few years. So yeah.
Or I forget,
Sure.
until the end. I know Malwarebytes you put it on our computers.
Yeah.
And, but this, the other day I was on it and I saw something and it said VPN pub.
Yeah.
Is that okay or bad?
Yeah. So if you are traveling or you're logging into Wi-Fi at Starbucks, on a cruise ship, or you got to use a VPN. Okay. So Malwarebytes offers a VPN. There are some better VPNs out there, like Nord. But if you're traveling or just going to a local, because think about this. Say you're at the airport and you've got your laptop open and you want to get on a website and on Wi-Fi, and you see Logan free Wi-Fi. You don't know that that's from the Logan airport. It could be the guy sitting next to you setting up a router. So this is what we're a VPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. So that
Repeat that again. Can you repeat that VP?
a VPN, VPN, so Virtual Private Network. So it encrypts the data you're sending through the internet. So bad guy can't pick up username and passwords.
But on my Malwarebytes, when my settings is off. Should I put it on?
Well, if you turn it on, okay, then you need to subscribe to it, so it costs more.
Oh,
Yeah. And so, but and Chuck, I think you do travel with yours and you go to various places in your work. So if you're at a Starbucks or anywhere, you should be using a VPN.
so click it on, but I have to pay more with no.
Yeah, I think it's another $30 a year.
If you're paying for it, leave it on all the time. There's no.
You can just it slows you down a little bit, okay? And so when you're at home, you really don't need it, because you're just using your own local network. But if you're off-site, you should have it on. Yeah. Yes, Scott.
Recommendation for a free one is Proton.
Oh, Proton. Yeah. Good. Yep. It's Proton. Yep. And they have very secure email as well. Proton email.
That's a cost. Proton.
The email costs. Okay. Yep. So okay.
Walter,
Now.
I have heard that
Yes, yeah.
I've heard that if you have a VPN on and you're traveling, you might not be able to get into your bank online or something like Fidelity. Do you know if that's true?
Actually, you should be able to, I would think. Where you might have a problem is if what's that? Oh, okay. Okay. The question is, if you're using a VPN and you're traveling, so Patrice has heard that you might not be able to get into Fidelity or your banking. So I was got it.
If they're hardened and they're looking for the endpoint source, they will think.
Okay, that might be the case depending upon the bank. I can tell you, if you're gambling, if you go to FanDuel's or one of those other websites and you're gambling, the VPNs don't work with that either. Because say you're in Florida, where online gambling is not legal, and you turn your VPN to pretend that you're here in Massachusetts, FanDuel's onto. They understand the laws in Florida, and it'll block you. So I don't gamble online. So all right. Now, anyhow, never give out any information such as Social Security or driver's license. One guy came in about a year or two ago, and he said he got a call. He let somebody on his computer. Oh, okay. So I said, "You do online banking?" No. Oh, good, good. Um, and I said, so why are you concerned about your bank account? Well, the bank told me to come to you. And I said, what? I said, did you give him any information? The bank guy? Oh, yeah. I gave him my bank account number, the routing number, his social security number, and his driver's license. Don't get out. I know I don't need to say that, but I'm going to say it anyhow. Don't give out that information. All right. Or your home address. John.
There are some legit, as far as I know, phone numbers for big companies that may ask, I'm trying to think who knows together, but they ask for your full social security number instead of the last four. And my inclination is not to do that.
Right. Okay. So the question is for you at home may not be able to hear that, but the question is that some phone calls, was that it, John? Yeah. They asked for full social security number. I don't know. I don't trust them. I wouldn't give anybody my. Oh wait, we got a banker here. Yeah. Okay. Good.
That's one way that we always verify our customers, but the customer called us.
Oh,
And that's how we verify that that's who we are speaking with.
with the full social security number. Okay.
Does that mean your agents have access to that information?
Yes, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What do they do with the driver's license? I understand social security number, but the driver's license is.
What's that, Chuck?
Form of verification.
Verification. Yeah. But also applying for credit. And we're going to talk about how to protect yourself, protect your credit. So, all right. Well, okay, John. Good thing we have a banker here. All right. So, all right. And never give out any passwords. Okay, we already talked about that many times. Don't tell anybody what your passwords. Don't tell them what your passwords are, even to your computer. Nothing. Don't give anybody your passwords.
Computer manager? I mean, yeah.
Password manager. We're going to get into that right now. Oh, remember. Oh, okay. So I'm coming up to passwords in a minute. So this website right here. Everyone, no matter whether you've been hacked or not, this is usa.gov/credit-freeze. And then there you'll see 3 links, one to TransUnion, Experian, what's the other one? Equifax.
And Novus.
Oh, I don't know this one.
There are 4.
There's 4 now.
Yeah, it's not well known.
Novus.
Novus. INNOVIS.
INNOVIS.
And
Okay.
they're not in the big 3 list.
Wow.
You get them when you hit that.
Yeah. Okay. So anyhow, on this website will be those 3 or 4 mentions of the credit bureaus. So you want to freeze your credit so that no one can take a loan out on your name, which is a form of identity theft. And now remember, I talked a little while ago about that big hack of 170 million users and social security numbers and home addresses. So all that data is circulating on the dark web now. These bad guys are going to be getting a loan with your name. So freeze your credit. And you can get the telephone numbers from that website. All right.
What does that effectively do? What if you then want to make a loan?
You have to call them and unfreeze your credit. And so I've had to do that. And it's a little complicated process, but that's okay. As long as the credit's frozen. So it only takes a few minutes to freeze it. You can call the telephone number that's listed on that website. So that's the easiest way to do this. You can do it online, but just call them up. And then I think they give you instructions on how to unfreeze it. So, so I've only had to do that once, and that was a couple of years ago. But freeze your credit. Right. Oh, the other big hack that actually happened in December of 2023. It wasn't reported until August, and you may have gotten even a letter in the email, a hard copy letter from Change Healthcare. So United Healthcare uses Change, but so does Blue Cross Blue Shield use Change. It's kind of a clearinghouse. I don't know exactly how it works.
There's about 12 of them are in there.
Okay, yeah.
It's
So
183 million US citizens data.
here we go. So freeze your credit. All right. All right. And you can still use a credit card, by the way. It's just that nobody can open a new credit card. All right. All right. So let's talk about password hygiene. We've already talked the importance of using a different password for every website. And we'll talk about ways of doing that, especially for financial websites. That's obvious. But especially for your email, and we already talked about that. So if you are using the same password for everything, you need to today. It's a big project, but you need to change it. And very important, if your bank has it, most banks do. The co-op does not. I don't think the savings bank. Turn on two-step verification. And what that means is that if you log on to your bank from another computer, no matter where it is, it's going to send you a text code to verify that you are you. Or if somebody in, let's say, Nigeria is trying to log on to your account because they've got your username and password, it's going to send you a code. And you're going to say, nope, not me. So make sure you turn on two-step verification. So Gmail has it, AOL has it, Comcast has it now. You go into settings and you'll see manage your account security and turn on two-step verification.
Which site, Walter?
Oh,
What browser?
not the browser, but so email, in regards to email, you can turn on two-step verification for Gmail and AOL and Comcast.
Hotmail? Hotmail?
Hotmail now too. Yeah. And so make sure you turn on two-step verification. It's also called MFA, multi-factor authentication, but whatever they call it, just use it.
It would be better to get a text message, whereas before you were talking about if a hacker put a email in the trash or whatever, and it in the two-factor authentication went to that other email.
Oh, good point. From the banker. The two-step verification should be to your cell phone number. Okay. Not to your email, because your email could have been hacked. But I got another little story. We had I did the same talk about a month ago at the Arlington Public Library. And when I got into the section about emails being hacked, there was a woman in the front. She said, And she came up to me afterwards and she said, "Can I see you tomorrow?" I said, "Sure. What's going on?" Well, my email was hacked, and I spent 2 hours with Comcast and 2 hours with Apple, and they tell me I'm all set. And okay, well, come on, we'll just take a look. So we logged onto her Comcast account, and there's a section there called events. You know, who's logged in? I said, well, it looks like literally somebody from Nigeria was there earlier in the day. So even though she changed her password twice, this guy from Nigeria was still on, not on her computer, it was on her email, using her email to send it out to all of her contacts. So
if you don't have the choice between uh where the verification goes and the cell phone is not a choice, just bypass it rather than go
yeah,
to email.
yeah. So with Comcast, you got to have not only your cell phone number, but another email, a different email account. So that doesn't give you it doesn't give me a warm and fuzzy feeling that you could reset your or you can log in from another location with another email address. You know, I'd rather see just the cell phone number, as you said. Yeah. And so the but coming back to this woman whose email, and we saw this 3 times that week with Comcast, that they're, by the way, Comcast email was hacked about 6 months ago or something like that. That's why they had all changed their passwords. But once you change your password, it should have said you want to close all open connections. It didn't ask her that. So if the guy in Nigeria, you know, literally was Nigeria, if the guy in Nigeria didn't log off, if he changed the password, he's still on the email. So Gmail, if you change your password, it says, "Do you want to log everyone off?" Yeah, sure. And so, so I think Comcast needs to get their security act together a little bit. Okay, Scott.
Follow up to her
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
I would still choose email over nothing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
The second factor,
Yep.
SMS text is more secure.
Even better.
Email is less secure, but it's still more secure than not having second factor involved.
And these days, there's yet a third version called an authenticator app, either Google Authenticator app or a Microsoft. There's a bunch of authenticator apps. But the easiest thing is text. And the reason why there's these authenticator apps is because bad guys can now hack your telephone number. So, you know, a simple way of doing that is just stealing your SIM card out of your phone. But of course, they don't have access to your phone. But I don't quite know how they do it, but they can. There we go, Scott. Yep.
They call T-Mobile, who is
Oh, that's right. Right.
And they convince the person they're talking to that they've lost their telephone using your
That's
name
it.
and number.
Yep.
And all the ID that they got from the dark web.
Yep.
And that they need the phone number reassigned to their new phone with their new SIM, and they do. It's called SIM swapping.
Yep. There you go. Yep.
People have lost hundreds of millions
That's right.
that way.
Yeah, and from Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Does anyone have their hand up there again? Okay.
Well, go ahead. Just, do you have a suggestion of a safe place to save your password?
Yep. That's coming up.
Oh,
That's coming. Good question at the right time.
Did you say an authenticator app is good or not good?
Oh, very good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better than a text message.
Can you recommend a particular one?
The Google Authenticator app is the easiest if you have a Gmail account. So if you have a Gmail account, it's so.
Well,
Yeah.
Walter, I have a question. You know, we all use electronics and it's convenient.
Yeah.
But it can be abused, and you're showing us how effectively it can be abused. Is there some sort of concise guide for people who are not Walter Hubbards, who don't, you know, none of us have your experience.
Oh,
When you're describing this, it's a little overwhelming for me, and I suspect for most of the people in the room. But is there a guide, either a video guide or printed guide, for the average consumer to use and to make use of in protecting themselves?
maybe I ought to put one together.
Bingo. No, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
We should.
And so,
It seems, I don't know, am I unique in my thoughts, or do you folks feel well about that? Yeah, I
There
mean,
you
look,
go.
this is,
It's your next assignment, help, Walter.
yeah, I guess so, yeah.
I'm really quite serious.
Uh,
I think people all over the globe are faced with the same problems. Not many of us have, none of us, I would suspect, in this room have your experience.
Yeah.
You can offer us a service if you would put something like that together.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
Okay, good. I
get
will.
a commission. I get a commission.
Walter,
Oh, yep.
yeah, I was just wondering about facial recognition because I use that on my iPhone to log into some accounts. And I wondered if that's hackable.
Nope, no, Face ID is the future. And of course, some of the older phones use a fingerprint. And okay, so that's part of the way there. I had one woman a couple years ago, and I said, and she had a new iPhone was setting up for her, and I said, "What you want to log in with your fingerprint?" And she says, "Walter, I'm 86 years old."
Well, do we have a couple of other questions?
Wait, well, let me finish the story. And I don't want to cut off my finger. When I die, all right, Jack.
Does PC Quick Help or someone you could suggest kind of like do an audit of my computer and all that stuff? I got a memory problem. I can't write down and remember all the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
But is there like an auditor or an audit firm that can go in and say, here are half a dozen things you might want to consider changing or whatever?
Yeah.
You do it or someone?
Yeah. I imagine I could do that. Yeah. Scott, for businesses, there's certainly audit firms that do that, and that will send you even fake emails to see if you open it. And if you open up the fake email, you have to go to, you probably have it in the bank, right? So training. So, but okay, I'm gonna need to look into that. So good. In fact, my wife tells me, geez, maybe you just specialize in that. Yeah. Okay. There's somebody else?
Right here.
Yeah, yes.
My comment is about, it's a great idea to put together how to fight the bad guys, so to say. But remember, the bad guys are going to be reading that too, so you're going to have to keep updating it all the time.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Oh, wow. So we'll keep it quiet.
I would definitely go for something like that. I want to stay safe.
Yeah. And so on my website, by the way, so I took these notes, actually, these notes right here. There's just 2 pages of notes, right? Which I made the slides from. And I uploaded those to Google's AI. And so it'll do FAQs and that kind of thing. But also, I told it to make a podcast. So you end up with these 2 people talking about, they're not reading this, but their AI has read it and made a conversation about this. And you'll hear 2 people talking that aren't real people. And so they do talk about what we're talking about today in a different form. So if you want to hear that, you can go to our website, pcquickhelp.com, and then you can download this if you want, but you don't get the joke. So, you've come here today for the joke. Or you can click on, there's another button I have on, so you go to PC Quick Help and you click on tips, and you can listen to this AI conversation. And it is scary that you got these 2 people talking about these papers, and they say these documents we have, and this expert says, I never said I was an expert. but they generate it. So that's just a little side story on that. Okay, we all set for questions? Oh, two more. Michael and okay, Mike, you first.
Yep. Sometime back, my daughter came to me with a website that she had seen either in the newspaper or on television. It was from the Massachusetts state government saying, we have money here for unclaimed funds. Send us this information and we'll send you money if you have any coming to you. So there was a social security number in there, address, things like that. This was pre-COVID. So once you, and I looked at it and it looked very, very legit, but once you signed those answers, sent that information, how soon after should you expect something bad to happen? Or is that a time bomb that could be sitting out there for years?
Time bomb.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that didn't make my
It
day.
could happen right away, or somebody could be sitting on it. So it might be on the dark web, waiting for someone to purchase that information. So yeah, lock
see.
the credit. By the way, findmassmoney.com or yeah, .com, right? Yeah. So .gov it is. Yeah. And so that's a real website,
Okay.
and you can find money. So I found money for not myself, but some of the clients.
Let's take Tom and then.
Okay. Yeah, Tom.
Yes. First, a quick question. You've listened to that AI version of your advice. Can you verify that it is accurate and helpful first?
Yep. It is accurate and helpful.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I don't know if anybody, so I mentioned, that you can go to our website, PC Quick Help / or tips. Just click on tips and you can listen to this AI podcast. And so Tom's asking if that's good advice they have there, and the answer is yes.
Okay.
So yes, I've listened to the whole thing.
I'd like to go on my question. It's a
Okay.
comment. It's a comment. You've mentioned some rather wise and smart people that have been taken. I include myself.
Okay.
Not that I'm wise and knowledgeable, but that
He is, by the way,
so
not PhD.
so easy to be taken. Psychologists, I think, would remind us that if we take account of our tendencies and know ourselves, we might be better able to avoid doing stupid things. What I'm thinking is that when we get on our emails, we are usually rushed. We are usually trying to be very good with our time and get through things quickly. It is so easy then, I think, to miss the possibility that this is a scam and to react and call that help desk to get help right away and get this thing solved. I say that from experience. I just wanted to add that in.
I think that's how this all happens. It all cascades. Yeah.
Not a lawyer, but I'm well aware of the legal system. I know that when it comes to some local police forces, they troll to catch the perpetrators. To what extent are law enforcement, state or federal, actually going after these various entities? Obviously, if they're international, maybe they can try to push on through State Department on Nigeria or other places. But to what extent is law enforcement actually going out after these people?
Yeah, and so on YouTube, let's see, I forget the guy's name. He exposes these places in India, and there's hundreds of these that have 30 employees or so in what they call a boiler room, and he can see them. Turns on their cameras. He can shut down their phone systems, but he also can call the local police in India. And what often happens is the local police may be corrupt themselves. And they'll do the raid, but they'll give them a warning before they do the raid. So, and as far as the U.S. government is concerned, they certainly can't go after anybody in Russia. So, the Russians, I think, consider these hackers for ransomware as heroes. So there's not much that we can do here. Yeah.
There is progress being made. Russian hackers, Nigerians, they're often caught extra territorially, so they will travel to Spain or whatever, where they get arrested.
Okay. So once they leave their country.
Yeah. So
yeah,
the government is working. They are having some success.
Yeah.
But again, they're using a teaspoon to empty the ocean. There's several billion people that want your money and only so many people trying to protect it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Eddie's got a question, right, Eddie?
Yes. For more elderly people, I mean, the number of scams that happened during the election.
Here.
Yeah, the number of scams that happened during the election on elderly people who are getting continuous emails about, subscribing to some political party or other. It was just enormous. And one of the things I was thinking about was having people who had trusted contacts that financial institutions, for example, can contact if there's unusual activity going on in someone's account. What do you recommend about that? Just having a trusted contact like a kid or someone that you trust.
So I'm missing the question, Eddie.
Someone. What do you think of having a trusted contact? An elderly person can easily be scammed. Right?
Yeah.
So can the financial institution contact someone else so that, because I've heard of cases where elderly people have been scammed, and the financial institution doesn't have anyone really to contact if they see unusual activity.
Okay, we have a banker here that can answer that question for us.
Unfortunately, being in the business, we have got so many people that have come in with a letter. I don't know if you can hear me, but people have literally come in with a letter saying, I had a car and I'm supposed to pay $8,000, but they sent me a check for $6,000, and I'm trying to, I need to send them, I need to send the money back.
Yeah.
Because they always try to send whatever they're sending you, it's always been more. And then they find out after the fact that the check they sent them is no good. So they've already sent their good money to that person, and then they find out that the check they originally got was back.
So what Eddie's asking is, should elderly people have a personal confidant who may be more aware of these things?
If they have maybe someone in their family, yes. I mean, they can't always depend on the bank.
Yeah.
We can always try to help the person when we're aware of it.
Okay.
I'm just saying that can a bank, for example, contact a confidant of that person when they see unusual activity happening?
They should call the bank first.
Call the bank, yeah.
But if the money's been gone, at that point, it's too late.
Yeah.
Right, but
buyers from going through.
How much money do you think your bank, not the bank itself, but your customers might lose per year? Would you guess? Would it be in the hundreds of thousands or
a little community bank
like here?
In Winchester Savings. But I just know what we've saved.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Oh, that's right. Because you don't know.
People could have lost money and we've never know about it.
Yeah.
I mean, people have thought they've had a boyfriend in South Africa.
Oh, the romance scams. Yeah.
Some of those.
Oh, don't go for the. Yeah.
One time we had a customer says, I'm coming to buy this money because they want me to go buy some gift cards.
Right, we've
Cool.
had.
She was like,
we've
what
had
are you
gift
doing?
card scams, yeah.
And she sat down with the guy and said, you're not going to buy gift cards.
Oh, gift cards. Gift cards, yeah.
So-
Don't buy gift cards, anybody.
$30,000 wire that someone was gonna send to someone who was building a hospital in Africa. Yeah,
Oh,
that's quite a lot.
All right. Okay. Hey, let's see. So we got one more question. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Scott.
Quick follow on to that one, but that's contact
Yeah.
only works if the person being scammed is willing to work with the contact.
Oh, yeah.
We had a conference in here where a bunch of people in law enforcement were in. One woman was speaking, saying her father, who lives in New York City, got scammed. She actually had to go and clear up the mess, clean up his computer.
Yeah.
And then she came back to work, and the next week he was back on it again. She had to go take his computer away from him.
Yep.
She is an IRS investigative agent that goes out chasing these people.
Wow.
And her own father would not talk to her about
Wow.
money
Okay.
he was sending to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We probably. Well, we got. Oh, Martin. Yeah.
In the past month, I subscribe to the Comcast internet and email. In the past month, I've been receiving notices that your internet equipment will no longer be compatible with our network after December 2nd. I received one notice several weeks ago saying that confirm within 24 hours to avoid losing email access, etc. Is that legitimate?
That second one doesn't sound legitimate. If you have any doubts, you go to Comcast or Xfinity.com, log into your account and see if there's any kind of message there. But that email sounds not legit. But your equipment might need to be updated because there's a lot of old Comcast equipment now. But don't try calling Comcast because, geez, you get into this phone tree that you can't get. Just go to the Comcast store. You know, there's one in Burlington and one in Fresh Pond Parkway, and they're really good at the store. So if you have questions about equipment or even whether your email is going to expire, I don't think it is. But Comcast did have everyone reset their passwords over the past 6 months. So that might be, but I would advise you actually go to the Comcast store.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. So now, as far as passwords, if you want to use a password keeper, so 1password.com. So 1password.com it is a good password keeper. And what that means is all your passwords are protected with them, and you just use 1Password to log into it. If you find that a little bit too complicated, okay, another way is to use a formula. So so you come up with a number and put up some kind of mark, exclamation mark, pound sign, question mark, period, and then put a word for that website. So if it's like Amazon, don't use Amazon, but use something like shopping. And then, so I actually use the same number at the end. And so, and you got to put a capital letter in there somewhere. It doesn't have to be the first capital letter. It might be small s, capital H, or something like that. And then, so you use that for Amazon, but if you wanted to use a similar scheme for another website, you use the same numbers, same mark, but different word in between. So for Comcast, you might want to say mails or something like that, something that's associated with that website. And so that way you know all your passwords. Now, but also what I do recommend is that you write your passwords down. And don't put them in a spreadsheet on your computer. Because the bad guy can get on your computer, unless that file's protected. But write them down and hide them at your house. Why hide them in the house? To make sure maybe your cleaning people don't get access to it. Seen that one time? Really? But you need to tell someone that you trust where they are, because we're all of a certain age where who knows, a bus might hit us tomorrow, right? And so we want our loved ones to be able to log into our various sites. All right?
Password protected Word file?
No.
You can, yeah, you can. Yeah. But I wouldn't recommend it, but yes, you can.
Password protected?
Yeah, like an Excel. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't trust the spirit of it.
So
There's cracking tools for that stuff.
well, they probably are, but so all right now. So anyhow, I really hope I've scared you today. Brian said it's overwhelming, and it is. But if you've learned anything today, okay. See, I wrote this for before Halloween. That's why there's the Halloween theme here. All right, what did we learn today? Think before you click. Just say, wait a minute. You look at the link and you hover over the link, and it tells you down at the bottom where it's going. Because sometimes it can disguise itself. Think before you click. Think before you call anybody or answer the phone. Think before. Wait a minute. Cooperative Bank's not calling me, or so. And don't let anybody on your computer remotely. We know that. Use a different password for every website, especially your email. And turn on two-step verification for every website that allows it. And and do it today. I mean, I don't mean tomorrow, I mean today. So, and I'm Walter Hubbard, and I approve this message.
Thanks, always. Yeah. I just want to say,
Oh yeah, 12 o'clock. Right at 12 o'clock.
You're right on time, but we'll bring this to a close. Let me just number one, let me thank you all, because we all use this technology. But technology is always a double-edged sword. It can be very useful, but it can be abused, and you've demonstrated how effective it can be. And personally, I worry as a technologist that eventually the public is going to distrust all technology. That would be very dangerous. The way to avoid that problem, I think, is to make sure the public is informed. And what you've done today is to inform us.
Yeah.
And I think, Walter, we're all very grateful for that. But I really do think it would be useful if there were some sort of guide for the average guy, average person could go to this guide and say, here's what I should be doing. I'm going to follow Walter Hubbard's manual of using technology.
And
I think that would be
today's talk is a starting point.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. We're done, folks.
Very
Thank
good.
you, everybody,
Thank you.
for joining in. Thanks, everybody who's online.
Very good.
We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Take care.
Very good. All right.
Thanks.